Good morning, good afternoon, good night. I'm Blackbright and I am a counsellor and I am not a professional immigration lawyer. What I counsel about, I counsel about any areas, whether it's abuse, whether you've got concerns about your immigration status, but not to give legal advice, but just if it affects the way you're feeling about yourself. Normally I do videos because I've been asked. Sometimes I do them based on my own inspiration. And the one I'm doing today is based on my own inspiration. And it's about, I guess it's about dual citizenship, really. Because I know somebody, they're quite old. They've been in the country for several years. They came into the UK during the Windrush period. So they were British subjects before they came and got naturalised, got the British passport and everything. Anyway, the passport was running out and he sent it off for renewal. When he sent it off for renewal, they asked him to submit his Jamaican passport. And when he said that to me, I thought to myself, well, I wonder if they don't want him to have dual citizenship. I wonder if they just want him to have the British citizenship. But then I thought that would make him extremely vulnerable, given the way things are going at the moment. You know, people are talking about, oh yeah, it's only illegals that have to be worried, but there are legal migrants or naturalised people who are being deported as well and who haven't committed a crime. Anyway, so he didn't want to submit his Jamaican passport. And then I was wondering, I wonder if because Britain wouldn't want anyone to be stateless, so they're not going to confiscate his Jamaican passport. So the only thing I can think of is that maybe they just wanted to look at it to see whether or not he'd been going back there and to check whether or not he'd domiciled there. But he's quite an elderly gentleman. But I can't think of a reason why they would ask him to submit it. Well, needless to say, he was very hesitant about submitting it because it kind of leaves you vulnerable. If that is the passport to your home country and it makes it easier for you to get into your home country, the same way the British passport makes it easier for the Brits to come into the UK. It's the same principle. If you go into Jamaica with a Jamaican passport, you probably, I don't know if you get held up longer. I'm not quite sure what the protocol is. But anyway, I wasn't quite sure. Now, you know, I didn't also realise that people actually renounce their citizenship. Now, Nigerians can renounce their citizenship quite easily, and that made me wonder. Suppose a Nigerian had, I'm just using them as an example because they're one of the countries who is quite easy to renounce, well, relatively easy to renounce the citizenship. But I was thinking, just supposing a Nigerian renounced his his Nigerian citizenship and settled in the UK quite legitimately, in the sense that maybe he's got married, maybe he's got kids and he's been here for goodness knows how long. And then we have this situation where, you know, he might have done a criminal offence. This is hypothetical. And he might have done a criminal offence. If he has renounced his citizenship of Nigeria and they deport him, he'd be stateless. So, you know, that came to mind. I know America, I think it's about 15,000 Americans have renounced their American citizenship. I think that's got more to do with, you know, not wanting to abide by the US laws, or I don't know if it's got anything to do to evade tax. I'm not quite sure what the reason is. But you don't really think about people renouncing citizenship, do you? You think about people trying to acquire a citizenship of a country. I think it was 1,200 Chinese have renounced their citizenship. It's not easy to renounce a Chinese citizenship anyway, so they must have had some really good reasons why they allowed them to do it. I think Mexico, I think it's quite difficult. I mean, there's quite a few countries that don't encourage it because of the potential of that individual becoming stateless. They have to make sure that they have acquired the citizenship of another country before they allow them to relinquish their own citizenship. I think in America you have to have 2 interviews. It's a long process in America. They don't allow you to renounce your citizenship that easily. So yeah, it was just a thought I had, because I was just, when he said that they wouldn't allow him, they wanted him to submit his passport. He did feel vulnerable, even though he hasn't even been back to Jamaica, you know. But I think, when you're born in a country, having that passport gives you a sense of security. I know quite a few Jamaicans that, regardless of whether they're here or whether they're elsewhere, they hold up, that's like their gold. It's like, yes, this is where I belong somewhere. Whereas when you're in Britain and you come from abroad, and I felt that way when I was living in America. I lived in America for 11 years, but it never felt like home. Britain for me is home. So I can understand how people, when you're in a different country, even though you're kind of acclimatized to that country and you've got a home there and you're living there, if you're not born there and you're getting used to a new culture, it's not the same. I remember when I was in a canteen, and the American accent is quite strong, and they used to take the P out of my accent because I had different slants on it. But I remember hearing 2 English girls in the canteen, and it was like music to my ears. It was like, oh, they're British, they're English. And I said, excuse me, are you from London? And we're friends to this day. So I understand why, Jamaicans or, other people might want to hold, well, I talk about Jamaicans because that's my background. I can understand why they want to hold on to that Jamaican passport, even though they've got their naturalisation, even though they're British, because that is what makes them feel comfortable. Push comes to shove, the shit hits the fan, they get kicked out, they've got their passport, they don't have to be ferrying around trying to get a new one. So yeah, I'm sure a lot of those passports are even expired possibly. But but it's good to know that you have it. So yeah, I think this dual citizenship thing, it's definitely allowed in most countries. And like I said, it's because they want to avoid statelessness, just in case they get, like a lot of people are doing now, they're deporting people from all over the world. And if they deport them to a country, they can't deport them if they're going to render them stateless. So they need to know that they haven't relinquished their citizenship. And that's all for now. Bye bye.